Welcome to Mamahood After Trauma, where we stop pretending and heal out loud. I'm Emily Cleghorn, trauma survivor, cycle breaker, and mama rebuilding from the inside out. If you're ready to break cycles, trust yourself again, and rise without shame, you're in the right place. Let's go. Before we dive in, I want to introduce you to something brand new. If you love the podcast and want a deeper connection to your healing, check out the monthly Peace Pack, a small trauma-informed tool delivered each month straight to your mailbox to help you find calm in the everyday. You'll also get access to our private Patreon community where mamas like you can share, support, and learn together. Sign up with the link in the show notes. Hello, mama, and welcome to this episode of the Mamahood After Trauma podcast. I am thrilled that you are here, that you've taken the time today to tune in and listen to our conversation and hopefully leave with some hope, something that will help you on your journey. That is my heart's desire for you with every episode. Today, we are being joined by Ronnie. Welcome.
Hi, Emily. Thank you so much for having me today.
Yeah, thanks for being here. I'm looking forward to our conversation. So, if you don't mind, let's get started with you sharing a brief bit of your story and how you came to be in the trauma recovery space.
Sure. A brief version of my story is, and this is with all the hindsight of therapy that I've
Mm-hmm.
had, is that I developed binge eating disorder
Mm-hmm.
back when I was about 9 years old due to my mother hiding cookies from me without talking about it at all, even when I asked her about it, and just from the general sense of no emotional support when I was younger. There was no closeness of family, sense of family. There was no nurturing. And those were traumatic for me.
Yeah, so often the relationship that we find ourselves in with food or other things like shopping or alcohol or whatever it may be can be a reflection of something we were lacking as a child.
Absolutely. And if I may say, just like to add on to what I just said, is that I was a binge eater for 30 years because of my childhood. And just the other day, I hit 18 years of recovery.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
So and I think there's been a lot of research done on binge eating habits, shopping habits, alcohol habits, and they are all very closely linked to trauma responses. So, Bronnie, if you don't mind, could you walk us through what your aha moment was and how your healing journey has gone?
So my aha moment was when I was sitting and watching television by myself one night. My husband happened to be out. My young children were in bed sleeping, and I heard the words on the TV, compulsive overeating. And for whatever reason, I may have heard that term before, but just went right by me. It sort of struck me, and I was like, huh. So I went over to my computer and plugged in, compulsive overeating. And one of the first things that came up was Overeaters Anonymous website. And it says, are you one of us? Do you do this with food? Have you done that with food? Do you think this way? Do you feel that way? And I was like, yes, 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 yes. Which blew me away because I thought I was the only one who ate tons of food and felt horrible about myself and could never break the cycle. So that got me doing some more research, and I found out that the eating disorder is actually a mental health issue, but I also found that there's recovery for it, from it. And, it gave some suggestions on how to recover and like how
Mhm.
you would go about that. So I immediately started looking into therapists. I also started reading books about other people who were also binge eaters and recovered. I started an anonymous blog, which is, I would liken to journaling. And I did go to Overeaters Anonymous meetings for about a year. And that was like my full on throw the kitchen sink at attack to try to get rid of this binge eating disorder. And of course, in the therapy is where I learned that my childhood was dysfunctional. I mean, I thought it was normal, right? I mean,
Mhm.
that's all I knew. So that was my normal for me. And, in therapy to come to find out that this was dysfunctional, this, causes trauma, blah, blah, blah. So it was really quite the eye opener.
Yeah. So if we could we back up just a little bit? Because there may be a mama listening who is like you were when you were sitting watching television and you had that aha moment. What were some of the red flags? What are some of the red flags that a mama can look for with her food habits that may indicate that she is a binge eater or a compulsive overeater?
Right. Yeah. Great question. A mostly by definition, a binge eater is somebody who eats a very large quantity of food in a short period of time. It's often done when they are alone, like maybe eating, quote unquote, normal around other people, and then really intaking a lot of food on their own in secret. It also means eating in a way that you feel out of control, like you just can't stop eating. And it also includes feeling really bad about yourself afterwards. You feel terrible physically because you're beyond fullness, and mentally you feel terrible. And there's a lot of negative self talk like, why am I so out of control? What is wrong with me? I am broken. Why doesn't anybody else I know do this? And basically I'm a loser. And you promise yourself the next day, I am going to do better. And it's just not that simple, right? And then the next day it goes into the same cycle. And often a binge eater has been on like every diet under the sun and and the diet never works. And they feel like they're a failure from that. But the truth is the diet failed you. Diets are just unsustainable, unrealistic. So it's never a failure on your part ever. It's just that a diet is just not sustainable. And when you are depriving or restricting any kinds of foods, that
Mm-hmm.
becomes your forbidden fruit and you just want it all the more.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, um, was there an emotional component to your eating habits? Was food a way to calm a trigger or an emotional state that felt uncomfortable?
Oh, absolutely. It was a lot of times it was boredom,
Mm-hmm.
or feeling alone, which
Mm-hmm.
is very, an eating disorder is very isolating and it's very shameful. Um, and sometimes it would just be out of frustration.
Mm-hmm.
It could be, it would have been from like a bad mood or an upset mood, and I felt like I needed some soothing. I also would do it. I would binge from I could be happy from a great day, right? I deserve a reward for this. I mean, basically for me, it was like the sky's blue. I deserve to binge. But yeah, there was definitely those components. And I, came to learn also in therapy that those emotions can often, they often tie back to the childhood trauma. It just sort of brings that up for you. And though you're completely unaware of that's what you're doing, your subconscious is bringing that up.
Okay, so for the mama who is listening and she's resonating with the signs and symptoms that you're mentioning, what is something that she can do today to help her feel better?
Okay, the first thing, the first step in recovery or feeling better is just to truly admit that you have a problem, and that it's just out of control. And often women feel powerless and they just feel helpless to do anything about it. So admitting it. And then the next step is making a commitment to get help. And you can't be doing this for somebody else. You can't be, doing it from societal pressure. And I would also tend to say that you're not doing it just to try to lose weight. The binge eating and getting therapy is really about fixing, you know, your limited beliefs or the childhood beliefs that you have, um, held on to all this time because your inner child never was seen or heard. Um, So yeah, definitely admitting it and making a commitment to yourself that you want to recover, that you are done with this life and you want to put it behind you and have a healthy relation, seek a healthy relationship with food, and then reach out for help. There are eating disorder recovery coaches like myself. As I mentioned, there's therapists. I would recommend a therapist that specializes, if possible, in eating disorders because a lot of therapists, as totally well-meaning as they are, having that specialty in, eating disorder is just, really, really helpful, I believe.
Absolutely. How can our listeners connect with you further if they'd like to do so?
Oh, I have a website, which is just my first and last name, Ronnie Robinson. I'm on Instagram. My handle is at Recover with Ronnie. You can reach me on email, which is recover with Ron. Oh, excuse me. My email, rrrecoverycoach@gmail.com.
Awesome. And I will make sure that there are live links in the show notes so that if you are a mama who wants to connect more with Ronnie, you can do so without too much difficulty. And you don't have to worry about it falling out of your brain because as mamas, we've got a lot going on and a lot to remember. So thank you so much,
Absolutely.
Ronnie, for
Yeah. And
being on the
also, I just
podcast today. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And actually, I'm sorry. I just wanted to mention too that if you're maybe not ready to speak with someone for help, I also wrote a book about my recovery journey, all the nuts and bolts and all the dirty laundry from age 9 to like age 40. It's called Out of the Pantry. And that's on Amazon and paperback, Kindle, audiobook. Um, and yeah, so many ways to kind of, some people, I get people seek help often. They read the book, they really see themselves in me. And the book also shows the hopeful recovery that can come from that. I wrote it to help women see that, oh my God, this is me, this is what I'm doing. And oh, I can recover from this. It's hopeful as well.
Yeah, we will make sure that there's a link to Ronnie's book as well in the show notes. Thank you so much, Ronnie, for being on the podcast today. It was a pleasure.
It was a pleasure, Emily. Thanks so much for having me.
Thanks for listening to Mamahood After Trauma. Take one insight from today, breathe, reflect, and keep healing out loud. Subscribe to the podcast for more stories, tools, and support. And remember, Mama, you're breaking cycles and rising with honesty. Until next time, mend the past so you can mama in peace.